In this class, I'm going to be going over what layers are. Now, once again, your screen might look a little bit different to mine, but the most important thing is that you do have layers selected in your Windows panel. It might be on the top here or it might be at the bottom, but all you need to do is go to Windows and make sure that your layers is ticked. Every new Photoshop document starts off with a background layer. You can see it over here on my right hand side. A background layer by default is white and also locked, which means if you want to change something on a background layer, it won't let you as it is locked, and you would need to unlock it in order for it to work. The way layers works is that they stack on top of each other. So they stack on top of each other, and anything that is on top is the first visible thing. So just keep that in mind. For example, let's use some basic tools to automatically create some layers and show you how they automatically stack up in the layers menu. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. Now if you right click onto your shape tool, you'll notice that a pop-up screen will pop up and you can select any shape you would like. But I am going to grab the rectangle tool and make a square. First thing I can do is change my colors. So my fill color, I'm going to make it say green. And then my stroke color, which is your border around your shape, you can select whichever color you want, but I'm actually going to keep it at no fill. So all I need to do is click and drag on my canvas to begin creating a rectangle, like so. And if I hold the shift down, it will automatically lock it into a perfect square. And when I let go, it's going to create that shape. As well as if you look on the right hand side here, and you will notice in the layers panel, you will have your shape layer. There are different types of layers. So I just want you guys just to remember that there are different types of layers that you can have. There is your shape layer, which is what we're just doing now. You have a text layer, you can have an image layer, and you can have a paint layer. And there's plenty of other layers that you can also have, but that's just top of my head I can think of. All sorts of layers snap on top of each other. Now remember, as I mentioned before, whatever layer that is on top is the first layer that is visible. Now you can do as many things to show the layers underneath, but for now let's go and create another layer. First, let me click on the move tool like so that it deselects that shape tool. And now we're going to add some text to our canvas. And all you need to do is click this type tool and click on the canvas and start typing. For now, our color is red, and we can change that color to whichever color you want to. So by dragging it down, and you can pretty much click on any color you want. So let's just go with that color and hit OK. Oops, let's go back to the same color and hit OK. And you can start typing. And click the move tool once you're done. I always go and click the move tool when I finish doing anything, just so it kind of like locks it in, okay? And you will see now on the right hand side you have your text layer. Now, like I was saying before, when I mentioned that whatever layer that is on top is the first layer that is visible. So you can see that when I drag this text layer on top of my shape layer, it is obviously in front because it's on top. But if I drag my text layer below, it's actually going to go behind the shape tool. Okay, so you can just by dragging and dropping, you can pretty much just change the view of your canvas. So that's just a little bit of an example. So remember, whatever is on top is what's going to be showing first. Okay, now say for instance I want to hide my box. You can either delete it or you can hide it, whichever one. Now I don't want to delete it, I just want to hide it. So all you need to do is just click on this little eyeball tool there, and it will actually hide it without deleting it. And then you can always just click on it again to make it reappear. Now a way of deleting a layer, all you need to do is click on the layer and drag and drop it to your little rubbish bin like so. Okay, now just a little Photoshop keyboard shortcut. If you hit Control or Command on a Mac and Z, it's an undo button. So another great tool about layers is that you can duplicate your layers. There are two quick ways of doing this. First one is you can drag the layer down all the way to the bottom to the layer panel, where you will see the little post-it note over here. And when you release it, you will see that your layer has been duplicated. So if we click and we drag and we release, you'll see now there's another layer. Okay, and that layer is now a duplicate layer because it says copy of your text layer. So there is a keyboard shortcut that's even faster than dragging it down to the bottom layer, and that is Control J or Command J on a Mac. A habit to get into when working in Photoshop is to start naming your layers. That's a big mistake a lot of beginners make. They will have all these layers in the layers menu and you don't know what each one of them are doing. So the best thing you can do when creating a layer is name it. So if you double click on the word in the layer itself, I'm going to change it to, so let's go for instance this one here. I'm going to double click over the wording and I'm going to change that to say text. Okay, well this one is a text copy, so we'll just put that text copy and hit enter. Okay, or like this one here would be, I would make it green square, even though you can see it on the right hand side, sorry, on the left hand side you can see what it is, but sometimes you can't because that is a bright color, but sometimes you can't see what it is. So some other added features to the layers menu is if you're wanting to hide a particular layer, all you need to do is to click on this little eyeball tool that's on the left hand side of each layer. And what that does is, let's go down and let's say for instance we want to hide our square tool. All you need to do is click on the eyeball and it will disappear. Okay, but the layer is still there. And if you're wanting to bring it back on, all you need to do is click on your eyeball tool. Some other things I thought I would also mention is, say for instance, we don't want this color anymore. On the lower corner of your box here, if you double click on that, it'll actually bring up your colors panel, and then you can change the color to any color you want to fit, any color that you want to use. Okay, another great tool is your opacity. If you're wanting to maybe make this a little bit more transparent, all you need to do is make sure that you've highlighted your layer, and you can just drag this all the way down and it will actually make it transparent, and there it is there. Now of course you wouldn't probably go all the way to 0 because why would you? You would probably just delete the layer then. Okay, and and how to delete a layer is all you need to do is click on the layer that you want to delete and drag it to the trash can, and that will delete your layer. Okay, I just want to move one step back, so just go click over here to your history, and I'm just going to go to the previous my previous action that I made, you could say. Or the other option you can do, remember I said, is Control or Command Z or Z. All right, if you don't have this history box over here, once again you just click onto the Windows menu and you just click onto history, and it will appear on the right hand side. Okay, and one thing I also forgot to mention is how do you add a layer. If you don't bring or drag something in, all you need to do is click on this little post-it note, and you can actually create another layer. What's also great is that you can group your layers too. So you can put them into like little folders. So say for instance I want to put in all my text that I have on this invitation, for example. If you go over here and you click onto the folder, now I'm going to drag this folder all the way to the top. Okay, and I'm going to name this folder text. Okay, and hit enter, and then you can click your text layer and hold the shift key and click on whatever other things you want to add to that folder, and you drag and you place it inside your folder, and there it is like linked into the folder. So you can show what's inside the folder, or you can hide it by clicking the arrow button. Okay, and that kind of just sorts your layers out, you could say. So for instance, like if you have a cupcake topper that you're doing, and you are adding a circle plus another circle on the inside plus a little border, a little dotted border in it, you can add those all into one little group folder, and it just kind of sorts it and makes it a lot more easier to find where everything is. Sometimes you'll find that your layers will just be all over the place, so it's always a great idea to either pop them into folders or name them, like I mentioned this before. And what's great too with the folders is you can obviously drag and drop it to wherever you want it to. Okay,